Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be reviewing the LOOK Keo 2 Max Vision Clipless Bike Pedal. LOOK has been experimenting with integrated lights in their pedals since their commuting Geo pedal lineup, so it's not a big surprise that they've added the technology to their most popular pedals, the LOOK Keo 2 Max. These are one of the most affordable, performance-oriented LOOK Keo pedals you can currently buy. And with this one, they've simply added a rear taillight. These are actually a separate model from the standard one, so it actually has a separate piece, so you can't swap them in and out with the current model lineup. Packaging wise, really nice and simple, no plastic. You have a big cutout here. You have the French flag colors, and you can actually see the full pedal and the light. They missed an opportunity to actually show the taillight with a little cutout here, but you can see the basic form factor and then the specs for these specific pedals. I'll go ahead and open this up. We'll go over the full specs. So retail price on this is $175, so it's more expensive than the standard Keo Max. They have a 60 lumen light system, so nice and bright for daytime or nighttime use, and a composite body just like the standard Max 2 pedals. They have an adjustable tension system, so you can find the right tension for your riding style, and they're USB Type-C rechargeable, so you can keep these charged really easily. And run times range from 5 to 10.5 hours. As far as what comes with these, you can see you have this nice little compartment at the bottom, and then you have a set of cleats, all the hardware associated with it. So you can see a little bag with the washers and bolts, the instruction manual, and then you can also see that these are just zip tied onto the body with the lights pre-installed. Now let's take a look at the weight of the pedals. You can see the lights are fully detachable, so a simple clip-on design. So with it off, the pedal weight per side would be 138. And then the light itself, and this is the same one that comes with the blade. So it's the same interchangeable light, and the left and right side are identical. This comes in at about 17 grams. Visually, the LOOK Keo 2 Max pedals look almost identical to the standard LOOK Keo 2 Max pedals, except for the slight difference in the rear clip. It's the same wide platform that LOOK Keo is known for. You have the metal wear plate here, big openings here with this composite body, so really lightweight with the main spindle down the center, and then the nut on the inside, so very clean installation. This is not as fancy as their Blade one, but this is their Grand Fondo pedal, so very affordable. A little bit more than the Classic 3, but gives you that lighter weight and improved spring and retention system. You can see big spring on the rear with this clip, and you just slide your feet in on the front and then snap down, and you can see this is what really pushes and holds you in place. Then you do a rotation to get out. With this one, you get the adjustable tension, but you can see the big difference between this and the standard Keo 2 Max pedals is you don't have that retention window which tells you what the tension is. Instead, you have this extended rear clip portion. So you have this little cutout and this extension out here and the bottom. And that's what works with the light. So with the light system, it's the same one as the Blade. They're interchangeable from left to right. And they're fully enclosed, so battery, everything's inside it. And you simply hook it into the bottom. So you line that up, put it on, and then you can see if you push back, it'll lock into place. Removing it isn't quite as obvious. You have this big tab here, but you essentially have to push down on the front portion of that and then push down while you're rotating the light. Then you pull up and you can see it's removed. So without it attached, it is obvious that there is a little hook here, but it still looks pretty clean. And then with it on, it adds maybe another inch length to the pedal. So slightly more weight, a little bit longer, but you get the improved visibility. The light itself is a simple cob LED design, button on the bottom, and you can see when you turn it on, you have multiple flash and constant modes and this grid of LEDs, so 2 rows that go all the way around with a curved lens, so it hugs the body of the pedal and slightly curved, so that again gives you that side visibility. So even from a side angle, you see a little bit of it. It has a USB Type-C charging port on the inside of it, so you have to remove it to charge it, with this little rubber cover here. And then to control it, it's just that single power button, a single press to cycle through. And it also has a built-in motion sensor, so you can see if I turn this one on, and just leave it. If it does not detect motion for 30 seconds, it goes to sleep mode. And then if it doesn't detect motion for another 30 minutes, it'll automatically just shut off. And then if there's no motion for another 30 minutes, it'll automatically turn off completely. So if you forget to turn it off, it'll preserve the battery. It's a very simple design and they're controlled independently. So unfortunately, there is no automatic syncing like we see with the arc light and some other pedals on the market. You have to turn them on and off manually. And that means when you're in flash mode, they might not be perfectly synced. If I double tap the power button, you can see there's a LED indicator. If it's greater than 30% battery, it'll go green. If it's less than 30, it'll flash red. And if it's less than 15, so even lower than 30, then this will go solid red. Very basic. It would have been nice if you had more indicators, but otherwise really simple to use. And then you can see the motion sensor here. As soon as I touch it, automatically turns on. So a really nice feature, and it can be easy to forget to turn these off, but with their long battery life, you can do really long rides with this and not have to worry about it. Now let's take a look at the light output of the Vision light attachments. There's 4 different modes, 2 constant modes, a low and a high. Low is 2 lumens, high is 3, which gives you 10 hours or 5-hour runtime. Eco Flash gives you the maximum 39-hour runtime. Nice irregular flash pattern. And the daytime flash is really bright at 60 lumens with 10.5-hour runtime. The one big downside of these lights is you can see you have to manually turn them on. So you have to reach down, turn on each pedal, turn on your tail light, turn on your headlight. So it's a little bit annoying, but once they're on, it's a nice complement. So I wouldn't use these as a taillight by themselves, but as a complement to an existing taillight. Here you can see some riding footage with it, and it looks really cool. So you have the flash pattern that's a little bit irregular, and because you turn them on with slightly different timing, they can also be a little bit out of sync, which sort of helps you, although it would be nice if they're completely synchronized. Otherwise, you can see nice and bright, long distance visibility, and with the Keo 2 Max, they're a nice affordable Keo pedal, not nearly as expensive as the Blade, but give you pretty comparable performance, just a little bit heavier and not quite as stable as maybe the Blade, but still about 90% of it. So a really solid pedal for long distance riding, climbing, or sprinting. And thanks to the biomotion you can see when you're pedaling, you have even more visibility as your eyes are attracted to the light as it's moving. So really cool setup. It'll be cool to see Look introduce this feature into all their pedals moving forward, but right now you do have to buy a separate pedal with this feature, but definitely a nice improvement with a little bit of a premium over the standard pedals. As you can see here, we have both versions of the LOOK Keo Vision pedals. They're currently offered only 2 variations, the Blade and the 2 Max. So as you can see here, the big difference here is the retention system. This one has the carbon blade. So very sleek design, no spring on the rear, while this one has a more traditional spring for the retention design. The Blade is much more expensive, and this one is the ceramic version, so you get a upgraded bearing here. But you can see they have the same cleat design and the same rear light, so they're interchangeable between them, the actual light itself, but the rear clips are a little bit different, but they use the same mechanism. You can see with the Blade version, definitely a sleeker pedal, and with the Blade version, you don't get the adjustable tension, while the 2 Max does because you have a spring, so you have an adjustment there. Same light adds a little bit of length to it, and the nice thing about this design is when you remove it, it looks really similar. So again, you push down and then sort of rotate it. It can be a little hard, especially when they're newer, but you can see with it off, looks pretty sleek, and with it on, you get the additional visibility. But same lights between them. They're not interchangeable with the other Look models unless you have the Blade version 4 with the specific rear clip. If we compare the Blade with the standard Blade, so the Blade Vision versus the previous Blade, you can see the big difference really is that rear part. So you can see with the light off, they've added a little bit of thickness to that rear piece. So this rear clip is a little bit different shape with the cutout, while the old one was just smooth. So that's really the most obvious indicator. So you do know there's maybe something missing here because you have this little clip sticking out, but still pretty sleek overall. And you can see when these wear down, you can see the wear plate gets a little bit worn down, and they're harder to clean with a Blade. You get dirt on the inside, which is really hard to get to and clean. With the Keo Max 2, I do have the classic pedals to compare them to. So with the classic, you can see, again, it's just that rear mechanism. So it's much more obvious here. It's a little bit thinner than that one, and you don't have that additional extension and little clip for the Vision light. So here you can see both pedals without the light on. It's very similar, but the difference here is you actually have an indicator with the standard pedals for the tension. Well, that's kind of done away with the Vision version, but otherwise almost identical shape design. It's just the fact that you use a different clip that's not currently offered as an upgrade kit, so you do have to buy it separately. So a very simple upgrade, and it's definitely worth it if you're looking for new pedals. If you already have them, it's probably not worth the upgrade, but once you need new pedals, these are really nice and add more visibility during the day and the nighttime. Now let's go over the pros and cons for the LOOK Keo 2 Max Vision pedals. What I like about them, they're daytime bright with 60 lumens. They're really bright, and they have the nice flash patterns, as well as biomotion, which ensures they rotate as you're pedaling for even more visibility on the road. The 2 Max pedals also have a really nice wide and stable platform, so it's really comfortable and stable. So whether you're climbing or sprinting, you always feel really safe in there, and it's a great choice within the LOOK pedal lineup. The negatives with these pedals is the fact that the Vision lights are not really backward compatible. You can't upgrade previous versions, so you do have to buy this version to take advantage, but we expect LOOK to integrate this feature moving forward. They also lack synchronization, so there's no Bluetooth or ANT+ communication with the Vision lights, so you can't connect it to a GPS head unit, and they won't automatically sync on or off together, so they're manually turned on, which can be a little tedious. Taking everything into account would give the pedals a 9 out of 10. They have improved safety and great visibility on the road. Thanks for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can see more content from us on our website at thesweetcyclist.com, as well as follow us on Instagram at thesweetcyclist. This is The Sweet Cyclist reminding you to enjoy the ride.